Is it safe now for an 8-year-old to get the first shot and then the second shot?
Thank you for that. Look, we are blessed here in the United States to have 3 vaccines under emergency use authorization. The J&J is on pause. However, the youngest age group that can currently receive any of these vaccines are 16-year-old for the Pfizer product. At the moment, nobody under the age of 16 years is eligible to receive a vaccine. There are ongoing clinical trials to assess safety and efficacy of the coronavirus vaccines in those younger than 16 years of age. And to my view, as a pediatrician, that's very important.
Well, of my time of, say, Leninger, biochem, and all that, it comes up to this medical phrase titer, T-I-T-E-R, or maybe it's simply the dosage allowed. Do we just assume it's the same vaccine for children, just a smaller dosage for little people?
No, kids are not just little adults. From the day we're born to the day we die, the only constant thing in life is change. And our immune system is no different. When you look at a baby all the way through an elderly individual, the immune system keeps evolving. So we cannot assume that a vaccine that's safe and effective in one age group is safe and effective in another age group. And often dose may be different, and immunogenicity, the ability of a vaccine to induce protective antibodies, could be different.
Well, how much higher is the bar in terms of side effects for children, given the fact that they don't present with the same degree of illness on average?
Thank you for that. We view it as very important to remember the future, our children, when considering this pandemic. And there are multiple reasons to want to have vaccines against COVID for kids. Although it's uncommon, severe COVID does occur in children in the form of a multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children, or MIS-C. Children do become infected and they excrete the virus, and they could infect parents or teachers or other children. And because childhood infection is often asymptomatic, other precautions won't suffice. And, the majority of vaccines in the world are given to kids. The majority of the global vaccine market is a pediatric market, and the infrastructure to deliver vaccines across the world is by and large a pediatric infrastructure. So if you want to get a high percentage of a population immunized around the globe for any infection, pediatric immunization is often the path. And so we view this as a very important component of the fight against this pandemic.
Well, I want to dovetail this conversation with the J&J issue, and this is a delicate topic, but the idea that the J&J vaccine was paused in its distribution because of 6 known cases of this rare thrombosis out of 7 million inoculations given. Is the bar that much higher for unusual developments, even if they are marginal and very rare, when you're inoculating a population that is not as at risk? And I'm thinking about a possible recommendation by the FDA by Friday that perhaps the J&J vaccine can go to people who are older than the age of 50, but not younger.
Well, vaccines are something that you give to healthy people, so they've got to be safe. And so there is a very big emphasis on safety, and that continues even after an authorization. Even after an authorization and you scale the vaccine and you're pushing it out to the population, there are passive and active systems to monitor surveillance for safety. And if there is a signal, even if it's a small and rare signal, as was the case with the J&J, it needs to be pursued. So although the pause is awkward, in my view, it's the right decision. And in the long run, that will lead to confidence in the public that the federal authorities are taking safety seriously. And of course, when you're developing a vaccine product for kids, safety will come first. And that's why there are rigorous clinical trials now that are double-blinded, placebo-controlled, prospective studies to assess safety and efficacy. And when the sponsors, such as Pfizer, believe they have the right data to indicate that, they will submit to FDA, and FDA may convene the advisory committee to look at those data. And as you know, those briefing documents are made publicly available to any American, so we have a very good and transparent process.